So, Carter, that brings us to the job that Brian Kelly is doing, and even more so, the perception of the job that he's doing. So,
Yeah.
if this was pre transfer portal, the thought that, okay, he took over a perennial powerhouse in name and brand and all of that, but the roster's a mess. He needs time. So, we're on year three. First 2 years, I think most people would consider those to be successes, not overwhelming successes, but especially the first year. And then he comes into a year three, and let's say they go 9-3. Now, of course, the postseason game is going to determine, okay, whether they elevate to like a top 11 or 12 versus maybe
Yeah.
being down around 20. So that'll mean something. But as well as I do, going forward, the disparity in perception between making the playoff and not making the playoff is going to be gigantic, as opposed to before it was like, well, you got to be elite to make the playoff. Now it's going to be like, well, where are you? We don't care about your game in December, and there's going to be that perception there. So if they don't make the playoff, still go 9-3, there's going to be a thought that, okay, traditionally we would have expected this, but now we're in the transfer portal era. These things should be fixed quicker.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. So obviously, perception of the first year was phenomenal. Now, did LSU win a lot of close games and had a lot of things go their way in year one? Yes, but that was honestly a really tremendous job by Brian Kelly after a rough overall performance in that week one versus Florida State. But that was his very first game with the team. But after that, he coached a really, really good season. Last year will, be the biggest what if in LSU history, not going to the playoff with Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors. But, bad luck happens and the defense went rancid. So, Mark, I look at it like this from, an objective viewpoint, also just as a supporter of Brian Kelly. I feel the absolute scrape barrel of the bottom bare minimum that he needs to be able to do is make the playoff at least once in the next 2 years. All right. That is the absolute bare minimum. Now, a lot of LSU fans believe that he should be able to go to the playoff both seasons, but he's got a huge contract. The recruiting is really good for 2025. So I am fine just putting that out there. I feel he should be able to go to the playoff at least one out of the next 2 seasons with the way the schedule sets up with some of the young players that he has. I feel like that is a good baseline. And there's going to be a lot of people, Mark, like what you just said, that feel LSU should go to the playoff this year with the offensive line that you have and a really good quarterback and, a lot of money poured into the defensive side of the football. So, I am not there, but I do believe the expectation should be around 9-3.
Because this team got knocked out of playoff consideration about 2/3 of the way through the season last year, this is a ridiculous statement on the surface. But maybe Jaden Daniels was somewhat underappreciated by many across the country because they
Yeah.
kind of checked out at one point. But just to review what he did, folks, look up the stats. It's
Yeah.
historic what he was able to do with his legs combination with the arm. Garrett Nussmeier, a different type quarterback. So does AJ Swan play a big role in this offense? Are they going to get him on the field, do you believe, to replicate Jaden Daniels in any way?
No, because AJ's not anywhere close to Jaden Daniels in terms of running ability. Um, and I don't think AJ Swan or Ricky Collins is close to Garrett Nussmeier. So this will be Garrett's job. And he'll have a relatively long leash because LSU's backup quarterback room is unproven. So, yeah, I mean, I don't see a two quarterback system or anything like that. And I really do believe Garrett this year will scramble more if given the opportunity to. That's something he's not really done. And he's mentioned in interviews being a little bit more apt with his legs. But with the offensive line that LSU has and the experienced running backs that they have, they might not need him to. So I feel as if Garrett is good enough to get this team to a playoff. I'm also feel good enough that Garrett Nussmeier can win you the college football playoff if he limits turnovers, which has been an issue with him. If that happens, LSU is definitely a team that can get to the dance.
Carter, the Power Hour LSU, Power Hour SEC, Power Hour NFL. That was a marketing and branding genius on your part. I love it. Love it.